when it comes down to time management and planning, both require executive functioning, which is hindered in people with ADHD. Because of this, we have a hard time with prioritization of tasks, and that can often lead to being overwhelmed when presented with too many tasks to complete, i.e., that huge list of things just to go get myself a bowl of cereal. So, because of this, we have a hard time with prioritization of tasks and can often deal with overwhelm when presented with too many tasks to complete, just like that laundry list of things when I went to go get my cereal. It can also affect our ability to tell time. Not as in we can't read a clock, but as in we have a hard time telling how much time has passed. And this makes it really hard to be on time or can lead to paralysis when we know we have tasks coming up out of fear that we're going to be missing that task or that we're going to be late for that task. So with that being said, I want to try a little social experiment with you all. Yeah, that's right. This bitch just got interactive.
Stealing my video. I'm seeing this right now. My video. Since
I'm not a content creator
anymore, you're stealing
you don't fucking count.
You're just poaching my shit now that
there is no original idea anymore, motherfucker. Deal with it.
The dead gorilla laying over there in the corner. You're like, I'm gonna take this idea, motherfucker.
I'm not beating sticks with dead horses anymore. I'm beating them with dead silverbacks.
No, go ahead, please. Tell me your wonderful idea.
No, this isn't my idea. This is actually something I think I saw it from Hey Good, who you fucking poached it from, motherfucker.
At least I gave him fucking credit.
Didn't even give me a chance. You know what? Fuck you. You're not even a content creator anymore.
No, I was waiting for that one.
There it is. I'm done.
Yeah, we know.
I'm going to go ahead and retire from the podcast now, guys. Thanks.
Okay, good luck with that.
So I wanted to do a little social experiment. That's right, this shit's getting interactive. I originally got this from Hey Good, but a particular silverback was getting rather ornery that I wasn't mentioning him as my inspiration for this idea. So a has-been content creator by the name of Silverback did a video.
Go fuck yourself. Jesus. The corpse isn't even cold yet.
So a good friend of mine and has-been content creator Silverback was getting a little upset that I didn't include him in my list of people that I was listing that had done the social experiment, which only included one other person, being Hey Good, whose video is where I got the inspiration from this from, and coincidentally is the same video that Silverback got the inspiration from his when he was making content. But we're going to try this little thing together. So what I want you to do is, on your phone, open up your timer app and open it up to the stopwatch. Go on. You can do it. Give me a second.
Go ahead.
Do it. It's gonna hurt.
Okay, I'm going to assume everybody is there now. If not, just pause the podcast till you get there.
It's that little button that's 2 vertical lines.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks, Dad.
Audio engineer tips here. I can't fucking do anything else right, but I know where the pause button is.
I was about to say, who sounded like they had their dick caught in a fan last week? Your words, not mine.
Uh-huh. I don't need you taking shots at me. I fire them best at point blank.
Look, it's called a double tap. I'm just making sure that the job gets done.
Gotcha.
Now, what we're going to do is when I say go, you're going to start that timer and don't look at it. Don't count in your head. Just keep your eyes closed and let that timer run.
Gotcha, bitch.
I want you to pause the timer at 1 minute. Don't cheat. Don't cheat yourself. Are you ready? Go.
I was thinking more along the lines of.
Yeah, but that one's overdone. I figured a happier elevator music might, lighten the mood a little bit because they're about to get fucking hurt by this.
Alex Trebek is there.
Alex Trebek is dead.
We're totally not talking to completely distract you of how much time is actually passing by.
No, we're just making sure that you aren't counting in your head either.
Well, yeah,
absolutely.
I can't count anymore.
100%.
1, 2,
18,
5,
36,
20.
Isn't that the dosage of Stratera?
Yes.
Hey, who knows?
Much.
Hey, look at that.
So look at that. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
but no, we're keep going. We're not gonna tell you when the 1 minute passed.
And if you stopped your timer anytime before now, you're wrong.
There you go.
That was exactly 1 minute. How'd you do? We are curious, so please make sure you let us know.
Not only how did you do, I also want to know how you felt. Because the other part of this is going to be your anxiety is probably driving you fucking crazy right now because you don't want to miss that timer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will go ahead and do a little blast to myself. I'll let y'all know how it felt timing that out for you all. I could look at my clock because I needed to know when 1 minute was up, and I have ADHD, which means I don't know how long a minute is. So I felt like, okay, maybe 30 seconds had passed. And I looked at my timer, and it had only been 10 seconds.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
10 seconds.
As we were waiting, and I sat here and busted into that tune, I was thinking to myself, how many bars am I going to have to repeat in order to make a minute? And I tried to actually break it down into a smaller chunk. I tried to time out how long a measure, or a bar rather, was, and then multiply that, right? And I fucking couldn't do it because I couldn't time how long that short little chunk was.
This is our executive function at work, or not.
Before we go further, I'll say this, that when I did my videos on these, I was fairly close to 1 minute. Specifically because I making a lot of TikToks during that time frame, and I had a really good idea in my brain what 1 minute was in my brain. Now, I tested myself further by trying to do a 2 minute one, and I made it to like a minute 22 seconds before my brain was like screaming at me that I'd gone over. You know, we can condition ourselves for certain times, but the more time you add, the more compounded I feel like it gets, where you get more and more and more time blind to actually.
Mm-hmm. And I know nobody can see this, but during that time where we're trying to time out a minute, my hands were clasped like this down here by my desk and like fucking and just ringing together, right? Mm-hmm. Because I couldn't handle it.
I was dancing in my seat.
I was doing that too.
I straight up was moving my seat all around and bouncing.
Well, I was singing
around.
the tune, so you guys got to see me bopping.
I mean, yeah.
So we aren't saying this as a way to harm anyone's psyche. Yes, if you've listened to us for any length of time, you know that people with ADHD suffer with executive functioning issues. That doesn't mean that there aren't things that we have the ability to do in order to help improve the executive functioning issues that we have. So after this commercial break, we're going to go ahead and talk about some tips and things like that work for us when it comes down to helping with time management and prioritization.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you this breaking news story. Unfalsy news. Having escaped from custody, a notorious criminal mastermind, Ari the Bot Killer, aka the Boss Bitch, is now at large in the metropolitan area. She is considered armed with admin skills and highly dangerous. Chief Boyardee held a press conference this morning, recommending that all Discord music bots be watched carefully, for no one knows when or where she will strike next. More on this story tonight at 11:30, after Squirrel Squad 6.
In the criminal justice system, squirrel-based offenses are considered especially heinous. In the Squirrel Station, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Squirrel Unit. These are their stories.
This week, Sergeant Chris visits local hero, the Sunshine Goblin, while Danny and Desi investigate the mysterious castle of Queen Zabir. Tune into a new episode of Squirrel Squad 6, Tuesday nights at 9, only on Channel 80 in HD.
In this area, we're going to cover some of the things that may help, and I emphasize may help a person with ADHD when it comes to planning and time management. Now, this is bearing in mind that everybody is different. Different strategies and different tips are going to work differently for everybody.
You could say different strokes for different folks.
You could say that. You absolutely could.
Just like symptoms of ADHD will differ from person to person, the tools in our toolbox that we use to deal with those symptoms will work in varying ways for different people. Some of these things that we're going to list work exceptionally well for me, and others don't. I know some people who can't do body doubling at all, and I swear by body doubling.
Same.
So for these tips, it's important to remember to give them a try if you haven't tried them before. But don't get discouraged if that particular tip doesn't work for you, because there are other things that you can add to your toolbox, which should work. And this isn't an exhaustive list either. TikTok is full of ADHD content creators, minus ADHD Silverback now, who have tips that can help you with your executive management issues.
Fucking knife, man. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, can you just... Here, I'm just gonna give you a permanent home in my back that you can just fucking leave it in there now and dig that in whenever you fucking want, okay?
Did you say a permanent hole?
Jesus Christ. Like... I'm just a dead gorilla in the corner. I'm not
He's
gonna
mad
fucking
at
chime
us
in
now.
anymore.
He's just a hole in a corner.
We rubbed his cold pelt wrong, I guess.
Anyways, okay, come on, Lee. You had a train of thought.
So let's just go through these one by one, explain what they are, and if they do or do not help us, how so. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a great idea.
The first on this list is the Pomodoro method. I get a lot of questions about the Pomodoro method.
I wonder why, Lee. Can you tell us why you get a lot of questions about the Pomodoro method?
The main question I get asked is, what the fuck is the Pomodoro method?
And how do you spell that?
Pomodoro is spelled Pomodoro.
And what is the background behind the word Pomodoro?
I'm sorry? I did not come prepared for that question.
Who's not doing their homework now, bitch? I got nothing.
That's it. I'm aiming for the school now. You know what? Fuck the school. I'm aiming for the hospital.
Fucking content creator fight.
Patrick's sitting back with the popcorn. I'm not involved in this shit.
Perfect. He's allowed to.
I'm just a dead gorilla hole over here.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, the Pomodoro technique was developed in the late 1980s by a university student, Francesco Squirrel. Squirrel was struggling to focus on his studies and complete his assignments, and feeling overwhelmed, he asked himself to commit to just 10 minutes of focused study time. So there you go.
All right.
The more you know.
I feel like I've learned something today. Not only is this podcast something that is going to hurt your feelings and beat you over the head, but you actually do learn something.
It's amazing.
I think we've set a new bar.
So the Pomodoro method works through a series of timers, and this happens to be one of my favorite methods. You set the timer for a specific amount of time, and that amount of time is completely up to you. I like to say you can accomplish a lot of things in 10 minutes, especially if your attention span is short or you're doing something exceptionally boring.
Mm-hmm.
Set it for longer times if you need more time to focus on something that you're doing. When I was doing schoolwork, I would do it for 30-minute sessions. You focus for that particular amount of time, and then you reward yourself with a break. That break is also a set time that you get to choose. I choose 5 minutes typically for a break time, especially when I do the longer focus times. Also, it helps if you reward yourself with something that you want during those break times. That way you have something to look forward to, and it makes you more motivated during the focus times.
Yep.
This can be something small like a piece of chocolate, or you might reward yourself by sitting down and doing a crossword puzzle. I don't know what kind of weird shit you people are into.
I also find that Pomodoro actually works very well with my daughter, and we actually have a slight variation of it depending on what the task is. Now, if it's something like cleaning up her mess in the basement TV room, then yeah, we will go 10 minutes or 15 minutes or, well, typically 10 because, 9-year-old. So we'll go 10 minutes and then take a 5-minute break or even a 10-minute break, depending. And then she'll be rewarded in some fashion. However, we have done an alteration of it that I've heard of, where if she's cleaning her room, we will say, okay, instead of time, we will break it into tasks. So we'll break it into chunks that way. Start with the Barbies. Start with the small accessories. Start with item 1, item 2, etc., and go from there. But also, if you have a massive load of dishes or something like that, and I recall you doing a video on doing dishes in a certain order, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could accomplish them that way, break that into chunks. So you wash the plates, and then the cups, and then the silverware, and then, break it into tasks if you have a giant amount of things that you have to get rid of.
No, that is a completely acceptable way to break up those tasks also, is instead of doing it by time, doing it by task. If I was doing schoolwork, let's say, and I had to do reading has a tendency to be broken up into subsections, and I would read through subsection and then give myself a break. Now, it's important that